Today's story is from the Old Testament, and that means it took place a really long time ago, before Jesus was born. And our story is about Daniel, and he was an important advisor to King Darius. And King Darius really liked him, and you can tell he's important because he's got his best suit on and everything. But the other officials that worked for the king, they were quite jealous of Daniel, and they wanted to get him into trouble. And they came up with a plan. And their plan was that they would get the king to sign a law that said that if anybody prayed to anybody other than the king for 30 days, they'd be thrown into the lion's den. And King Darius thought this was a great idea because he wouldn't want people to worship them. But Daniel was a good and a religious man, and he went home and he continued to pray to God each night. And he would sit in his window 3 times a day and say his prayers. The officials that didn't like him went to the king and told him. And King Darius was devastated because he knew that that meant he was going to have to throw his best and favourite official into the lion's den. And there was nothing that he could do because he'd passed the law. So Daniel was to be thrown to the lions. But they weren't cute and cuddly lions like ours. They would have killed him. And he was thrown into the den. But the king, look, he's got his crown on. The king was devastated. And so he prayed, "May your God save you." And he went back and he spent the night horrified by what he'd done. And when he woke up the next morning, as soon as it was light, he went to the lion's den and he shouted, "Daniel, Daniel." And he was really relieved when he heard Daniel answer, "Yes." And he said, "Are you alive?" And he said, "Yes, God sent an angel to guard me and the lions haven't touched me." The king was delighted and he had Daniel dragged back out of the lion's den. And he had the officials thrown into the den who'd been horrible to Daniel. But they weren't so lucky, and they were eaten by the lions. So we're going to do some craft now, and then after that we're going to think a bit more about the story.